Okay, let's try this again. I wish I could tell whether there was an issue while I was fucking streaming without having a fucking moderator here. That would be excellent. Alright, so look, take two here. Hopefully it will go better this time. So look, hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. Also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you'd like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Alright, so let's try this again. I'm back. It's been a while. I haven't done a live stream for freaking ages. I've still had repairs and bits and pieces and stuff going on in the background, but thanks to the pricing of 50 series, demand for mid-range gaming PCs has pretty much evaporated. Certainly over the first quarter of calendar 2025. It sucks because the 50 series isn't as good price performance as the 40 series, and the 40 series wasn't as good price performance as the 30 series. So it's been getting worse for a while, and unfortunately, freaking Nvidia, they don't fucking. Oh, what the fuck is it fucked up again? Please tell me it's not fucked again. Can someone just confirm that the stream is still functioning properly? Like, it's showing it's okay on my end, but then YouTube isn't displaying a video for me. I think it's okay. Okay, alright, so sounds like it's okay, alright. So, yeah, like I was saying, Nvidia, they have no love for the industry, they have no love for gamers. Nvidia and Jensen, the freaking Musk-esque type CEO of Nvidia, he only cares about AI. That's all Nvidia is really focused on. Gamers, fuck gamers. They'll just try and milk gamers for every last dollar they can get out of them. They absolutely have no respect for gamers and they have no respect for the industry. So, yeah, pretty harsh words coming from me. Is that going to stop me selling Nvidia cards? Yeah, probably not. But I don't have to like the company behind them. So yeah, it's a bit of a crap one, right? All right. Okay. It looks like things are going a bit better than last time. So anyway, my first point is basically fuck Nvidia. Those guys can go and suck a big one, because you know, if I didn't have other income streams, then I'd be fucked, right? If I was just doing Tim's PC and it was the only thing that made me money, 50 series would have set me broke, put me out of business, basically. So yeah, very, very little respect or love from me to Nvidia right now. So yeah, will I recommend Radeon cards as a default? Oh, it depends, right? Like, Radeon cards, they typically have random compatibility issues with random games out there. So I don't generally offer them, or don't generally suggest them to people unless it's like the best price performance option, or they've actually specifically asked for one. Just because, like, if something happens and their favorite game doesn't run properly, I don't have time to spend like on the phone with them for a couple of hours while they try every little setting and every different thing possible to try and make it work properly and stuff, and I'm holding their hand to do it. I just don't have time to do that sort of stuff. So I typically go with old reliable for that particular reason. But yeah, like I said, not much love for Nvidia right now. The budget end of the market's doing really, really well. So for people building budget pre-built PCs in cheap Chinese cases and stuff like that, that part of the market's doing really, really good right now. High end, high end's a little bit slower than normal, but high end's high end. People with money, you know, they're not as affected by these same kinds of market forces as everybody else. So it's the mid-range that's suffered, you know. Australians have lost most of their disposable income week in, week out. Fortunately, interest rates are starting to go down. That will help everything out, help every business in this country out, basically, by having the interest rates go down. Because, yeah, if you don't have a mortgage and you see stuff about interest rates and you think, I don't really understand what that is and what that means, but think of it like this. When you hear them say there's the 0.25% drop in interest rates, that means the average person is going to save between $100 and $400 a month on their mortgage. So it's pretty considerable. Yeah. So those interest rate cuts make a big difference to how much spare money people have, and it greatly affects things like PCs, because this is definitely a luxury item. You don't need the PC. Like, I mean, I'm sure you've got an iPad or a laptop or some other computer in the house that's not necessarily a gaming PC. But a gaming PC, spending money on it and stuff, that's definitely a luxury item, and it's definitely the kind of thing that most people can't afford right now. Midnight Gaming's here. 5070 is a decent card. Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. The only thing that sucks about it is the price. If it was like 200 Aussie dollars cheaper, it'd be excellent, and I'd probably be selling heaps of them right now, because it'd be a good upgrade prospect. Okay, so look, it seems to be going okay now. So look, what I was talking about before. So I'm sorry if you've seen part of this before and all that. Feel free to go grab a beer or go to the toilet or whatever while I do this. But I'm going to be listing products for sale on my website, and we haven't done this before. We've only ever done sort of in-person service, repairs, mobile call-outs, and obviously our live stream custom PC builds. That's all we've ever done. When I started Tim's PC, that was always the plan. My plan was never to be just a retailer. But things are changing, and I think the time has come for Tim's PC to start selling a bit of stuff on the website itself. So I've come to an agreement with an Australian IT distributor, and I'm going to be listing not every single thing that they sell, but quite a lot of what they sell directly on my website. So the inventory and the all the listings and stuff like that, I get an update from them. They send me through updates every day, and I can update the website every day, basically. And so what it will mean is that Tim's PC will be selling mainly a whole heap of cases, power supplies, coolers, fans, accessories, monitors and stuff. We're going to have all that sort of stuff direct on the website, and that'll get shipped directly to you. So you place an order, it's just like buying from any other online retailer. Shipping will be included in the final order. Then basically you get the product. I don't have a little warehouse here or anything like that to support it. It's all drop shipped from the wholesaler. So basically you place an order from Tim's PC's website for particular items and it gets shipped to you directly from the wholesaler. You'll receive an invoice from Tim's PC. It'll be exactly like it's just come from Tim's PC, but I don't have to actually physically go and buy $40,000 worth of stock and store it somewhere in order to manage it. So really happy that I've come to this agreement with this company for this. And so one of the things that we're going to be selling is an item called, or a brand I should say, called Zalman. And so Zalman is it's an aspirational brand. It wants to sit up there with the sort of fucking so over this, eh? Every time it fucking rains. Oh, fuck this. Seriously? Is it actually working again now? Can someone please tell me if I can continue or I have to troubleshoot this further? Okay, looks like we're back. So look, I'm gonna have to just keep going now. So if people couldn't hear what I was talking about before, that's fine. We're just gonna have to get on with the stream now. If it fucks up again, I'm sorry. I don't have my moderator here tonight, so I'll just be on my own. So we're just gonna get stuck right into the build now. Okay, so this PC here, obviously got our RTX 5070 here. So it's got a Ryzen 7 7800X 3D, got an Asus Prime B650M-A Wi-Fi 2. We've got a PNY RTX 5070 card there. We've got two crucial P3 2TB SSDs. We got a 32GB kit of RAM, 6400 MHz CL36, I think it is. We've got our Thermaltake UX200 SE cooler, bit of a mouthful there, and we've got our Cooler Master GX3 850 Gold. So it's an ATX 3 power supply there. ATX 3 means it has the 12+4 cable direct from the power supply, so we don't need to worry about any adapter cables or anything skanky like that. Alright, so let's get stuck right into it. Let's have a quick look at the board here. So this is it. So this version of the board, there's actually a few different versions of this particular board, and all the other ones were out of stock, and I had to get the CSM version, which basically it's the same spec as the other ones, the other Asus Prime B650M motherboards. The thing what's CSM about it is it has the old school PS2 port there for old keyboards and mouses, and it's also got a VGA port there for old monitors. That's what CSM means. CSM stands for compatibility support mode, or compatibility support motherboard. CSM's a BIOS setting, and in BIOS it's compatibility support mode. What Asus calls it for their motherboards might be slightly different, but we'll just call it compatibility support. It's easy. So to go around the motherboard here, so we've got 12 pins of CPU power there. Obviously our AM5 socket in the middle. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fan ports. We have 1, 2 M2 slots. We've got dual channel memory across the 4 slots there. We have a total of 4 RGB headers, 1 12 volt, 3 5 volt. We've got obviously our ATX power there for the motherboard. We've got USB 3, USB-C for the front panel if we have it. I don't think we have USB-C on this case. No, we don't. We've got 4 SATA ports at the bottom. We've got our speaker header, our front panel header. What do we got here? COM port header, 2 USB 2s, SPI-diff out, COM port debug headers, clear CMOS header, and our front panel audio header down there. Those little gold capacitors you can see down there in the bottom corner, they are the audio capacitors insulated with the gold there, because audio is an electrical signal. It can be affected by other bits of EM radiation flowing around inside your case when everything's running. So that's why they're always located in that part of the motherboard, away from everything else, basically. Then in the middle there, we've got our PCIe X16 there, and then we've got 2 X1 slots below. So pretty decent little motherboard there. It's a little bit weird seeing the old school ports on it, but believe me, this board has a USB-C front panel connector. The old ports don't mean this is an old motherboard or anything like that. This is just for people who this is just so people can buy a new PC and still use their old hardware on that PC. You know, there are still people who like to use an old school CRT monitor to run certain games and stuff, and they will plug in to a VGA header just like this. So for someone wanting to use that hardware, they'd have to seek out this board. For us, we just bought this one because the other one was out of stock, the non-CSM one. And in terms of the rear I/O there, everything else is pretty solid. I mean, you've got your Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.2, 8 USB ports, including 4 USB 3.2s. We got 2.5 gigabit LAN there. The display outputs there, you don't want to use these display outputs. They will be active with the 7800X 3D, but if you plug into them, you will not be using your 5070, and your gaming performance will be a fraction of what you'll get out of your 5070. So if you plug in a monitor to these, make it just a spare monitor, an extra display. You're not going to plug your actual gaming monitor into those. So just a little FYI there. So let's just get stuck right into it. So we'll start with our RAM. This is our silicon power. So there's no RGB on this. This is not meant to be a showcase PC. We're just trying to get a decent quality price performance PC. Customer is a referral from another one of our customers. He bought a 4070 rig, or a 40, yeah, I think it was a 4070 or a 4070 Super. And the customer wanted to get the same thing. And unfortunately, there'll be no more 40 series. Unfortunately, the retailers and wholesalers have decided that, you know, in Australia, you can probably still get them in Southeast Asia though, but you know, good luck buying one of them and getting them shipped over here without getting ripped off. Okay. So SSDs, so like I said, we got two M2 slots, and we got two SSDs. Oh, we're gonna need a couple of these little offsets. Oh, that didn't really... Yeah. That didn't work very well. That little tool doesn't want to work. I'll use the frickin' old school stuff. Okay. That's definitely not going to work. Someone asked what GPU. It's an RTX 5070, the PNY version. I don't think it's got a model. I think it's just the PNY RTX 5070, the triple fan one. Okay, now our 7800X3D, excellent chip. Yes, there's a 9800X3D, but it really makes very, very little difference to your gaming performance whether you get either one. They're both excellent. Very nice. Okay, cooler time. Okay. So a tower cooler's fine. There's nothing to worry about with them. They work really well. You can get just as good a quality cooler that's an air cooler like this than you can get as an AIO. So people think, oh, you know, they hear liquid cooling and they think that the liquid does the cooling, but I'll let you in on a little secret. The liquid isn't what does the cooling. The liquid is the vector of heat transfer. If you know what a vector is. So it's not the direct thing that's causing it, it's just the thing that it sort of goes through. And so what that means is you got an AIO cooler, right? It's got a radiator. Radiator looks like this. What do you attach to the radiator on your liquid cooler? Fans. The fans and the air is still what cools your CPU, whether it's an air cooler or a liquid cooler. The air is what cools the radiator. The liquid moves through the radiator and then goes to the CPU, cools the CPU down after it's been cooled down by the fans. So the liquid cooling is just the reason why they started doing liquid coolers, right, isn't because liquid just makes it so much colder and amazing and all that. The reason why they did that was because coolers were getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it got to the point where it was this big block of metal on the motherboard there, and the motherboard sits like that in the case, and you got this big chunk of metal, and it like starts to bend and warp the board over time because they were just getting so heavy. So now these days they only make air coolers up to about a certain size, and then it goes to liquid coolers, because the thing with liquid coolers is you can attach a much bigger radiator to it, and it doesn't have to be sitting there right on top of the CPU. You can attach it to the top of the case, and all of the heat can be expelled out the top of the case, not inside the case. So when you have an air cooler like this, you really have to have that back fan there, because the air that comes off that's really hot, and you want that fan at the back there to just push that straight out the back of your case. So we'll get stuck right into it. See this little sachet of thermal paste. These little sachets have a single application in them. Okay, so we've already got the AMD bracket there on it. Oh, actually, no we don't. This is one of these type things. Oh, hang on. No. Yeah, yeah. Just got to bend this metal a little bit, apparently. There we go. So sometimes they make a bracket like this even for the AM4 one. It's pretty weird. Okay, and so for our fan here, it's going to be mounted over here. The direction of airflow is this way, so it's going to go that way, and it's going to go out the back there. Alright, just hold it there for a sec. Second fan. Yep, good. Nice and even. Okay, that is all good to go. We just have a single RGB cable there. Okay. Alright, so now let's turn our attention to the case. Okay. Alrighty, so remember what I say about cable management. Keep different groups of cables together. That will sort your life out. Don't like bunch them all up together or anything like that. You know, you've got your fan cables, the fan cables together. You've got your RGB cables, put your RGB cables together. So yeah, I personally like to get rid of all the little wire ties around them. If I'm going to use something to tie it back, I'll use an actual cable tie, not one of those wire ties. Okay, so like I said, all those fan cables from the front are together. I can go over there. got one more fan cable at the back here for this fan. Alright. So that one will be on its own. Does Antec give me a splitter? They sure do. So we'll use the splitter on these three here. Very good. So those three fans, one plug into the board there. That can just plug straight into the board. Everything's plugged into the controller there. So that's all looking pretty good. Let's put a power supply in there. Alrighty, here she is. So this cooler here, like I said, it's an RTX 3 cooler. It's gold efficiency, but the quality of it is top tier. So you can always tell the quality of a power supply. Primarily, you can look at the reviews and stuff, you can look at the cybernetics score and stuff like that, but I find that in general, the average person just needs to look at the warranty duration. You know, this power supply here, I said it's top tier, and that's because it has a 10-year warranty. So if it dies on you within 10 years, you'll be able to get a new one. How's that? It's pretty good. It's in line with the best quality you'll get on basically any kind of electrical device. You buy a good quality fridge or washing machine or something like that, and you'll see that the absolute best ones have a 10-year warranty on the electrical stuff inside. And that's like this power supply right here. No. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. So one lot of solder. Seriously? Here it is. Alrighty, so here's the RTX 3 cable right here. This is why you make sure your power supply is RTX 3 if you're going to be running a 40 or 50 series card, because it has this cable here straight from the power supply, and it's also got a 90-degree connector there on it, so depending on which way the card's orientated, we'll be able to plug this in nice and neatly. Someone just asked, do I normally update the BIOS? Absolutely, I do. That is one of the first things we do once we assemble it. And yes, so because I'm not like some company with, like, you know, 10 different freaking employees running around and doing all this stuff for me. I am a sole trader, so from my perspective, I've got to do everything I can to make sure that there's no customers. I don't have time to spend hours on the phone with people trying to help them with their PC problems. I need to minimize that as much as possible. So yeah, BIOS updates are done, all the software gets installed, all the drivers get updated to the latest version and all that kind of thing. The PC is ready to use. And yes, it sounds good. It sounds like a great service, and it is for the end user, but it's also a good deal for me as the business, because, like I said, I can't get rid of all the problems that are going to happen, but I can do my best to reduce them as much as possible. So first things first, get that frickin' IO shield in place. Because that happens a lot. People forget to install this until the very end, and then they've got to pull their PC apart just to put this bastard thing in. The funniest thing about IO shields, funniest story I can tell you about IO shields, other than like getting like slicing my finger open on the metal or something like that, but I had a PC for sale. It was a second-hand PC. I was selling it on Facebook Marketplace, and it was, you know, it's an old PC from used parts that I put together, and I was like, oh yeah, this will be a good little PC for someone. Blah 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 blah. And it didn't have a rear IO shield on the motherboard, because that frequently happens with old tech that you're recycling and rebuilding into PCs. And so yeah, there's no rear IO shield, and it's no big deal. It's really just there to cover the hole around all the ports. It doesn't it doesn't provide any structural support or anything like that. It's not like the ports will freaking bend or something like that if you don't install the bit of metal at the back. The ports are like bolted to the motherboard. They're not going anywhere. They're not designed to go anywhere. That rear IO shield there just covers up the back. Like I say to people, I've said to people a lot of the time, like lots of times, if I can pretty much guarantee that the rear IO shield was something that was conceived by the marketing team, not the engineering team. The engineers would just have a hole in the back of the case where the cables plug in and be like, yeah, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And the marketing team goes, oh, we better cover up that hole. Like seriously, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm getting a bit sidetracked here. The point was, I had a PC listed, no rear IO shield, and I had this customer message me. Well, not a customer, had this person message me, and they were quite angry. They were quite upset, and they said to me, like, yeah, basically yelling that this is unacceptable. The rear IO shield is there for your protection and the protection of others. Yeah, the bit of metal there is going to protect you from the electricity. Yeah, yep. Because, you know, like metal is, you know, metal doesn't like conduct electricity or anything. That's just, yeah. and plus, if there's something wrong with a USB port to the point where you're going to get electrocuted from it, that frickin' panel is not going to help you at all. But it's no big deal. The amount of power these things run at the back there, it's no big deal. You're not gonna hurt yourself by not having an IO shield there. But anyway, I just thought that story was absolutely fucking hilarious. Talk about someone who doesn't know anything about computers or just electrical products in general, thinking that they know everything. They think that, oh no, the PC doesn't have that. Oh god, that's like dangerous then. You know, it's like, oh shit, okay, geez, if I turn the PC on, I better keep my hands away from the board, something might happen. Like, if you know anything about people who work on PCs, we frequently have the case open while we're doing things, playing around with it. You know, unless you freaking go and stick your screwdriver, like, on a couple of little resistors or something like that, or other electrically conductible surfaces on the motherboard while it's running, you basically intentionally try to damage the board. You're not going to have any problems with it. I mean, clear CMOS header down there, you touch that with your screwdriver when you're diagnosing PCs with the case off. Yeah, the USB ports and stuff like that, if you were going to short them, you'd need to touch both sides of the USB port at the same time, which you'll never do with just your screwdriver. The engineers have actually put a lot of clever engineering into the motherboard to make sure that it's relatively simple to work on, and that, like, you know, I've got a test bench down there, which is just an open frame computer with a motherboard on it. They make sure that they're, you know, safe to use like that, basically. Alrighty. So, now we've got everything in place. Where are we? Okay. So our first one will be our CPU cable. Okay, that's definitely the two I need. So what I like to do when we've got a 12 pin, a little hack for you, pull your CPU cable apart so you've got a single 4, and then you can put it with the single 8. Make sure you get it the right way around. Like I said, just get it kind of lined up like that, and then just put a cable tie around it. Oh. And then when you plug it in, it'll just look like you've just got a special 12-pin CPU cable, instead of having like an ugly like cable pulled apart up there and stuff. You know, try to keep it looking nice on the business end of things. Okay, and there we go. As you can see, that looks pretty good. And so you don't need to use any extra cable ties here. You can just sort of tuck your CPU cable just around the lip there. It'll make it a lot easier for you. And so I've also run this power cable for the controller down the edge there as well. And then what we can do you don't need most of that SATA cable, so you don't have to tie it up or anything like that. Just sort of bunch it up, tuck it away near the power supply. You just need a little bit of length out there just to plug into that cable. Alright, so that's to the motherboard, that's to the graphics card. This will be our front panel audio. Have enough room to go from there? Not really. We can go down behind the board there. And so yes, you can slot small cables down behind the board there. Just do it very carefully. You don't want to rip your cable open on the bits of metal on the back of the motherboard there. So just be careful when you go to do it. Once again there, just run it around the lip of it, down there. Perfect. Alrighty, so we've got a USB 2 there. Pretty similar. Make sure we're behind all those small cables there, and we'll just drop that one. Like I said, just be careful. You don't want to catch the cable on any of those bits of metal on the back of the board there, because if that happens, you could end up with a short, and you will not be very happy, and you'll probably be pissed off at me if that happens, because I told you to do it. But I'll just tell you right now, you got to be very, very careful. These are insulated cables, and unless you damage them, they're pretty good. They stay insulated, if that makes sense. I was just looking for that. So there's the RGB for our cooler there. We plug it straight into that controller. Done. All right, and then one to go to the motherboard. I think we'll use just this one around the side here. Beauty. USB 3, that was on the side here. Done. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Alrighty, that's looking pretty good. Alright, so just kind of like try to integrate your USB 3 and your motherboard power cable there together. Alrighty. So some people think these front I/O cables are like the hardest part about building a PC or something, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know about that, guys. You just got to remember one thing: positive on the left, negative on the right. It's like a car battery. Red on the left, black on the right. It's the same when you're plugging in cables. So you see those little power cables that say power plus and power minus, and you're like, which one's which? Positive on the left, negative on the right. You go from left to right, positive to negative. Just if you keep that in your head, you shouldn't have any problems. Okay. Okay. Just gonna put a couple of cable ties around here just so I don't want to see any cables sticking out those gaps. Yeah, cool. Oh, hang on. Before I go any further, I'll put the rest of the bolts in the motherboard. So I only put 2 in it when I start. When I'm doing a micro ATX board in an ATX case, because I like to run those cables at the bottom behind the board so it's nice and tidy. So don't over tighten these bolts when you're screwing them in. Just tighten them until you feel a bit of resistance there from it. If you over tighten them and you get the bolt stuck in the offset, it can be a real pain in the ass. You have to take the whole board apart, get there with like a screwdriver and a pair of pliers, and try to like get it free, because if you tighten in too tight and you try to unscrew it, you'll just unscrew the offset, and the offset will be connected to the bolt through the motherboard. So ideally don't do that. But yes, now time for the star of the show, the RTX 5070. So yeah, this sits, I believe, between a 4070 Ti and a 4070 Super, or no, it's between a 4070 Ti Super and a 4070 Ti. Alrighty. Alright, so always make sure that you peel off this bit of sticky on the back of the motherboard. If I can get at it, there we go. Because that back plate there is part of the heat sink. So, yeah. Oh. Okay, and so based on the shape of this port, very good, so it'll just sit in there at the top. So you should just be able to just slide the back panel on. It shouldn't be a big deal to get it in place. If it is a bit more of a big deal and you find you've got to press it down, you might need to re-evaluate your cable placement at the back, because it shouldn't be hard to put that back panel onto it. So just to give you a bit of an idea. Alrighty. So let's see how she goes. Okay, so moment of truth. Oh, sorry, I haven't been able to see the chat there for a while. Oh, yep. Sorry, just let me have a quick read of the chat here while waiting for it. Oh, yep, posted. Alright, so we'll go ahead and we'll go and do a BIOS update. Alrighty, so yeah, we'll make sure that this is all up to date. Don't worry about that. Some of these ASUS BIOSes require a restart as soon as it starts doing the update, so that might just be a little bit of a brown pants moment for people. I know. But yes, this thing will do its thing. And so yeah, we have a UPS connected for all of this. So if I was to lose power or anything like that, that's always good. Alrighty. Alrighty. So I hope you don't mind if I have myself a cold beer. It is Saturday night after all, right? I've done the main bit there. Now it's just soft that up, right? Okay, alright. We are ready to go. Alright, so we'll turn on our Expo, which is also known as XMP. There's our 6400 megahertz CL32 memory. Okay. So Windows 10 support's nearly over. So pretty soon, even if you want Windows 10, you're not going to be able to get it. Because I'm not shipping any PCs out to anyone with unsupported operating systems. You can forget about that. You might be thinking, why? Why does that matter and stuff? It's like, well, you know, I don't really want to get sued. Because if I sell someone a PC with Windows 10 as a new PC and it's not supported anymore, if something happens and they get hacked or lose their fucking information and stuff, they could potentially hold me liable. So, pretty low chance of that happening, but yeah, I'm still not taking that chance. So I'll still do Windows 10 for now, and it's up to the customer whether they want me to install the update for Windows 11. But yeah, like I said, those days are numbered. Cool, cool. 5070. I mean, geez, I remember when the 1070 came out. I remember when the fucking 670 came out. I used to have a 980 Ti back in the day. That was the best one you could get. Alrighty, so now we're booting to Windows, and okay. Jeez, thank fuck we're not in the United States right now. So I never set passwords for anyone. It asks you for a password, hit enter with a blank password. Okay. So let's get some stuff installed here. Really? That's an old one. I'll have to download a new one. Where are we? Oh, it wants an internet connection, does it? Well, we're not doing that just yet. Okay, so let's do what we can offline. Yep. Okay, give that a restart. Okay. Seriously? That was so weird. It literally showed it copy over. And it didn't fucking copy over properly. Still saying it doesn't support this fucking system. Are you serious? That's fucking annoying, isn't it? Oh well. Alright. Okay. 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 Alright, once this is done, we'll do a quick reboot and then we can finish off everything. Sweet. rebooting because I need to get that updated chipset software. That's really weird. The file on the website isn't compatible. And yes, I double checked it and made sure I had the correct version of Windows, but still didn't make any difference. Okay. Windows Update's been a bit slow, isn't it? Okay. We're done from in there. Let's set up our second drive. Geez, the new Armory crate's more buggy and shit than the old one. Bloody. Okay. So while that's all going on in the background, let's set up MSI Afterburner. Oh, I need a new Nvidia. Gotta get one for myself. Internet's so slow tonight. That must be why I'm having problems. some. This chair for a while. It's one of those thermal take ones. It's got like leather seating. It's like a it's like being in a car inspired seat, I guess. I can't think of the model off the top of my head. But they're expensive, man. They're like $1,500. Very expensive. Ugh. Internet is just crawling tonight. It's nearly dial up. This is Bailey, the small. Now you might go, oh, she doesn't look very small. Well, she is. Oh, I think you need to go outside, don't you? Sorry, I'll be back. Alrighty. Small dog, you're back, hey? Alright, so I'll run these gaming benchmarks really soon. Just gotta wait for the graphics drivers to install. Graphics card driver. There we go. So I always adjust this fan curve just slightly. Usage, clock speed, wattage. We've got our MEM2, which is our VRAM. We've got our usage and clock speed. We've got our CPU usage, temperature, usage, clock speed, wattage. And this number here below CPU, that's how many frames per second it's currently running at. So I mean, it's doing pretty good in those opening series, I should say. It's not bad, eh? You could certainly do worse. at a fairly high frame rate. It's designed so even really shitty cards can like run it, and then if you plug in like a flagship card, it just runs at stupid frames per second. Like a 4090 used to 900 at a particular point in this benchmark. 900 frames per second. That's just ridiculous, right? The readout from the graphics card's not. It's interesting. How's it looking over here? Alright. Alright, so with max anti-aliasing. Now we're getting a readout from it. Well, all's looking good. Temperatures are behaving himself. So CPU, this CPU can get up to 95 degrees, that's its red line. The graphics card can get up to 83 degrees, that's its red line. So if it's under that, your system's not. People see these temperatures and they think of it in terms of like in human terms, and they go, oh shit, holy shit, 60 degrees, that's really hot, that's like hot enough to keep food warm. Basically, yeah. And this is these temperatures here, the CPU temperature and GPU2 temperature. These are the temperatures inside the actual CPU and inside the actual GPU on the graphics card itself. Because the graphics card is basically like a motherboard. It's got RAM, it's got a processor, it's just a special graphics motherboard that you plug into your motherboard so you can game really good. And that's what the GPU is. CPU, GPU, they're kind of similar. And yeah, they can both get really, really hot inside, and that's normal. So I get people freaking out about like basically low temperatures all the time. Oh, I'm a bit worried about my computer. The CPU said it was 70 degrees the other day. And it's like, no, 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 that's not a problem. When I stress test it, it's going to sit, the graphics card and CPU are going to be like at 90 degrees and 75 degrees like the whole time. How are we looking? Still a little bit of stuff to download there. Alrighty, let's do this superposition here at 4K. This is a DirectX 12 benchmark. Sometimes I get asked, what is this superposition? What is this actually representing? And my best guess, with my very basic knowledge of physics and all that, this seems like it's set in the 60s or so. And the 60s was a very, very dynamic time for physics and quantum mechanics and stuff like that. We were discovering stuff all the time, and what we were really, really focused on back then, we wanted to find a subatomic particle that linked to gravity. And unfortunately, even in 2025, we're yet to find a subatomic particle linked to gravity. Now, the reason why they wanted to find that is because if they could find a particle linked to gravity, then they could find some way to manipulate that particle, which means that they would be able to manipulate gravity. And so what this seems to be showing is some kind of anti-gravity generator. And it just turned off at the end of the benchmark and everything just falls to the floor. Alrighty, so that was superposition there at 4K. Alrighty, well, look, it's getting pretty late, so I'm going to start the stress tests, and I think we'll probably sign off. We'll wait for all this other crap to download in the background. We don't really need to worry about that. All I care about is this here, how it performs. So I think we still needed some chipset drivers and stuff, but I can get that later. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, there's our graphics card being stressed, and set this up for a 90-minute run. This is what we call a burn-in test. So the idea is we're going to make it get really, really, really hot. So there's our CPU. It's already at 85 degrees instantly from running Cinebench. And that's exactly what it's meant to do. It's meant to get really, really, really hot. And down here, our graphics card. Barely doing anything, isn't it? It'll heat up. It'll just do it a bit slower. The Cinebench is quite powerful, quite demanding on your old CPU. So, did it hit 90 yet? Nah, not quite. But yeah, like I said, it can get up to 95 degrees. So this is still like well under temp. And yeah, I just let this one run for 90 minutes. Make sure everything's running as expected, but you know, I've got no reason to think that there's anything wrong with this system, so should be able to pick it up tomorrow. This customer's in Brisbane, so just not too early tomorrow morning. It's my Sunday, and I like to try to sleep in as much as I can on the weekends, because during the week I'm up in the morning and I'm gone all day. So hotspot 255 degrees. That's not right. So probably need to update a hardware monitor to talk properly to the 5070. So if you're looking at that going, oh my god, it's about to catch fire. No. So on a graphics card, you got your GPU, that can get up to about 83 degrees. Memory and hotspot can get up to about 110 degrees, depending on the card. Some go a little bit hotter than that. But yeah, 255, that's not right. See here, min value, min and max. See how they're all like different? Oh, well, yeah, you know what I mean? They're all showing 3 different values. This is just the same, which is a good indication that there's something wrong with that particular sensor. It's not the card, not anything wrong with the card. It would just be hardware monitor. The app needs to update. There was an update window. Blame it on the dog. You're a good scapegoat. Yeah, you're a good scapegoat. Absolutely. Small dog. You want to see everyone? Example, so that's no issue. And so, or sorry, not 40 minutes, 90 minutes I should say. And we'll record the data, but I think everything's gonna be all good. So if anyone's got any other final questions for me before we sign off, now is your chance to talk. If not, I'm gonna get going. I think it was Dan who just commented, "Hey Dan, yeah mate, all good. It's looking all good. Should be able to come pick it up tomorrow if you want. On Monday, where will I be on Monday? On Monday, I can meet you in Ipswich if that's any help for you. On Thursday, I could meet you at Springfield. Other days probably not going to be much help. I'll be just as far away. So yeah, there's your options. You can come see me tomorrow, just not like super early, like lunchtime or something like that. If not, yeah, like I said, I'm in Ipswich on Monday. I'll be in Springfield on Thursday. So if that's any help, more than happy to bring it with me and meet up with you. Yeah, just let me know, man.